And when you go for space, you are always creating weaknesses. What is space? You are pushing pawns. When you push pawns, you are leaving space behind. They create weak squares, weak pawns. So a4 is a weak pawn. b4 is a weak square. c4 is a weak square. So in a way, although white is better here because of his space, if he's not careful, Pragg can fall into some trouble. So bishop d7, what a great move by Magnus, Amruta. He just went back.
Wow.
He did not let Pragg take, nor did he take here, because after knight f5, there is pressure. So he went bishop d7. Pragg said, okay, I will take. But now after rook
Positionally,
d7,
the engine doesn't recommend taking on
no,
d7.
absolutely
Yeah?
not. Because now, if you go knight f5, then I have this tricky little move bishop d8. This is what
This
Magnus.
is so subtle.
Yeah.
Like you have actually vacated the d8 square. That bishop sits there. The queen on e8 suddenly becomes more active. Rook is well placed on d7. This is not an easy way to defend such a position. And I'm talking defending because white was putting all the pressure.
Yeah.
Great.
And now, as we will see, Magnus might go bishop d8 or rook c4. Both look possible. Bishop d8 has been played by Magnus. So Magnus has defended against all of Pragnananda's immediate threats, and now he's looking forward to creating his own threats with rook c4 against the a4 pawn and so on. Look at this, Amruta. Tables are slowly turning because now Pragnananda goes rook d4, and this is a master class he's getting from the world champion, because
Exactly.
you think white has done everything right. White has gained space. He's put his pieces on the best squares, but in a way he has extended himself.
But you complete this because I have a very
Yeah, because now rook c7, I will pin here. Knight c4 ideas. Knight a4 is slightly weak. I'll first bring my queen up. So in all, it seems like Magnus is going to start pushing now.
Yes, but Sagar, exactly again the question, because white has space, black has an IQP. IQP says that we should exchange
IQP means
pieces.
isolated.
Isolated pawn. So it means that white should actually exchange the pieces to make that pawn weaker. But white also has space, which means if the pieces are exchanged, then that is going to land up more in weaknesses. So it's such a contradictory
Yes,
thing.
because of
How
this.
should white think? Like,
Because of these pawns, he's gained more space.
correct.
Pragg would have loved if right now his pawns were back here. I mean, that would have given him a risk-free edge.
Okay,
If
so
his
you mean even bishop on f5 should have been retained.
No, not really. I mean, yes.
If we go back, what was still the best way to continue? Like bishop d7 was not a great idea.
No, this-
Not easy to understand also. Why not?
Yeah, maybe-
Now we know it.
Maybe
So
just
what?
keeping the queen here, defending this. It's not simple to know what exactly or how to continue. So
Because in such a kind of situation, if you look at black, he cannot take here because then knight f5 he doesn't have bishop d8.
Yes.
So जब तक ये situation है, ये नहीं हिल सकता, ये नहीं हिल सकता, this can't move, this can't move. We know this.
So
then
it's a standoff which is both sides don't want to resolve it, but Pragg somehow did it, and that was not a good idea.
Okay, he had to maintain tension. That was the main idea. Still, I think he'll be able to create some practical play with
Yeah.
his pieces going towards the king side.
Yes.
Knight on f5 is always a worry, especially when the pawns are on g7 and h6. You can never kick that knight away so easily.
So Pragg is going for an attack, but first of all his piece was hanging, so he goes knight e2 to exchange here. Knight h5, and with this he wants to exchange off a few pieces more, which is now attacking the rook and also the bishop, Amruta.
Yes. So if like bishop d8, he played that. It's a kind of a knight f4, right?
No, he blundered, Amruta. He
No,
blundered.
with knight f4 is simple.
Yeah, he blundered. And I think let's look at Pragnananda's face.
Oh,
Oh,
my
there you.
God. How did he miss the rook on f4?
I think what he missed, not the rook, Amruta.
Huh.
He missed that in this position, bishop takes b6, but he missed this move, rook c1 here, which then forks the two pieces. and he loses the queen.
Oh, that rook c1 was missed, not knight f4.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's a huge blunder by Pragnananda, because after bishop d8, he was hoping that Magnus would take back, and that would have given him such a great position here. But Magnus was there on the ball, and it was not like here, Amruta, if bishop b6 works, and if Magnus is forced to take back, then this is coming. So in a way, Prag somehow felt, is he winning? Like, does Magnus have to go back? Then he can always take this pawn and the game is still fighting, because he has two pieces for a rook. But what he missed was, of course, that in this position after bishop b6, rook c1 is coming. And so
But that is just possible to miss. If instead of the knight here, if there was a rook on c1, he would not have missed that.
right.
But because there's a knight, it's just a tactic, yeah?
Correct. And Prag is so unhappy there, Amruta. He is literally upset that he missed his. You know, you don't want to lose a game by blunders. Is there any hope in this position left? The answer is no, because Prag has resigned and Magnus was waiting for his opponent's move, but Prag resigns, and that means Magnus Carlsen has moved to 2-0 up in this match,
Wow.
which is
tough.
a massive lead, and Prag has to win both the games now in order to force the tie breaks, which is not at all easy.